All right, let's jump right in. Today, we're looking at something pretty wild: how artificial intelligence is finding its way into the dentist's office, specifically to make a super common surgery, getting your wisdom teeth out, a whole lot safer.
I mean, if you've ever been in that chair, you totally know the feeling. Yeah, it's a routine thing, but it can be, well, pretty nerve-wracking. And it turns out there's a really good reason for that.
So here's the deal. The number one challenge for any surgeon doing this is to avoid something called the inferior alveolar nerve. This thing is super important, and it can be nestled right up against an impacted wisdom tooth. We're talking one wrong move, and the risk of a serious complication shoots way, way up.
So how do they navigate this incredibly tricky space? Well, they use a special kind of 3D X-ray called a CBCT scan, and from that scan, they build this incredibly detailed 3D model. You can almost think of it like a GPS for the surgery. It maps out the exact location of the tooth, all of its roots, and of course, that all-important nerve.
But how do you actually build that map? Okay, this is where our story really starts to get interesting. It's a classic showdown: the traditional, painstaking manual method versus a brand new, lightning-fast approach using technology. So get this: the old way, where an expert has to manually trace the tooth, slice by digital slice, takes about 44 minutes. The new way, using pure AI, it can be done in as little as 1 minute. I mean, that's a gigantic difference, right? But it begs the question, is faster actually better? To figure that out, researchers set up what is basically a head-to-head competition to see which method could create the absolute best, most useful 3D map for a surgeon.
Okay, so let's meet our contenders. First up, we've got the semi-automatic method. This is the traditionalist, requiring a lot of careful manual work. Then you've got the pure AI method, our speed demon that does the whole job on its own. And finally, there's the hybrid team. An AI does the initial heavy lifting, and then a human expert comes in to fine-tune and perfect it.
And how were they going to judge this thing? Well, the criteria were super simple and straightforward. First, speed. Pretty obvious. How fast can you do it? Second, accuracy. How perfectly does that 3D model you made match the real thing? And third, quality. Does the model actually show all the tiny, critical details that a surgeon absolutely needs to see?
All right, the tests were run, all the data was collected, and the results are in. Let's see who came out on top.
Okay, in round one, speed. Wow, it is not even a contest. The pure AI clocks in at just 1 minute. The AI plus human team takes about 15 minutes, and the old-school manual method is way, way behind at 44 minutes. That's a knockout win for pure AI.
So, that's it, right? Case closed. The machine wins. Well, not so fast, because when you're planning a delicate surgery, speed is great and all, but it is definitely not the only thing that matters, not by a long shot.
Okay, now let's look at accuracy. And this is where the story takes a twist. The AI plus human team actually takes the lead here. They produce the most precise, the most faithful 3D model. The pure AI methods, they were good, for sure, but they just couldn't quite match the fine-tuning that comes from that human touch.
And here's exactly why that's so important. This study found that some of the models made by just the AI were, well, distorted. They were often smoothed out way too much, which actually erased important little details. And in some cases, they even mapped the wrong teeth or missed entire roots. That is not what you want your surgeon looking at.
But in sharp contrast, the models that came from that hybrid AI plus human team, they were excellent. They captured all the sharp, accurate little features, like the exact shape of the root tips, which is absolutely crucial for a surgeon to plan a successful surgery. And this, right here, just perfectly sums up the study's main point. The researchers themselves concluded that, yep, AI is fantastic for getting things done fast and with pretty high accuracy, but it's that final manual adjustment by an expert that guarantees the best possible quality for the real world. So, what does all of this actually mean for you? The next time you have to go to the dentist. The big takeaway is this: the fight isn't man versus machine. The best results and the safest outcomes come from man with machine. It's all about collaboration, not a competition. And this tech leads to some really tangible benefits for you. It means safer surgery because your surgeon can literally see and plan a path around those vital nerves. It allows for much better planning. They can do virtual rehearsals of the whole thing, and it makes you a more informed patient because you can actually see a perfect 3D model of your own tooth. It's the perfect team-up.
Let the AI do the grunt work, and let the human expert add that critical finishing touch.
And that kind of leaves us with a really fascinating question to think about. If this human-AI partnership can so perfectly map a tiny little tooth and everything around it, what other complex, tricky parts of the human body could this powerful team map out for us next?